Well, hello, everyone in the podcast world. Welcome to Up and to the Right. I am so glad you're joining us, whether you're watching this or just listen to it. I'm glad that you have chosen. I hope that you will share it with other people. And today is a special day as we get to have Christian Velez talking to us. Christian, good to have you.
Thank you for having me back at Up and to the Right. Super excited to be part of the conversation today. So thank you. I'm excited.
So Christian, so that everyone and many people know who you are, but just for anybody that might not understand your journey here at North Church, tell us a little bit about your journey, because I think that you started off as a single man and you have come a long way since then. But then also tell us kind of how you have served and led here at North Church over the last few years. So
my wife and I, she was my girlfriend at the moment. We went to North Church the first Sunday of 2018. I remember my wife and I were actually on our way to a different church. We started to date and we were on our way. And when I passed by North Church, I tell my wife now, she was my girlfriend, hey, in 2014, I was in an internship in Virginia. And there was a guy that told me, when you go back to OKC, you need to go back to North Church because that preacher preaches the gospel. It took me 4 years to go to North Church after I came back to Oklahoma City. But I'm on my way to a different church, and I just remember that. And I say, hey, you want to try that church? So we turned around, we did a U-turn, and we went to North Church, and I was her home immediately. Natalie and I were dating, we got engaged, and we started a school of ministry. We were part of the second class of school of ministry. And 8 months later, I was a student pastor of North Church. So I started serving. Actually as a door greeter and attending Thursday nights. Then I became the student pastor. And I served for 5 years as a student pastor of North Church. It was amazing, our time. And as of August of 2023, I transitioned into being the group's pastor, building kingdom community in our church.
Well, you're doing a wonderful job. You did as a student pastor, and then now in your present role, things are trending up and to the right, and we're so excited about what God is doing through you and Natalie. Let me just ask you, how can someone become a disciple? What does that look like? What does that mean? Unpack that a little bit for us.
So Jesus, in the Great Commission, he said, go throughout the whole world and make disciples. That is our job as a Christian. And a disciple, it really means to be a student. And as disciples of Christ, we are disciples of Jesus. So for you and I to be disciples, we have to have somebody that is teaching us the word. And it's kind of like what we do in church. And this is the thing that I'm really, really passionate about now being a group's pastor is because discipleship looks different today than it looked 20, 30 years ago. And it used to be called Sunday school. And I get people ask me this question all the time. When are we going to have Sunday school here at North Church? And I think people are asking for the wrong thing because we still have Sunday school. It's just not on Sunday. It's on Mondays. It's on Tuesdays. It's any day of the week that works for you. And here at North Church, discipleship happens in small groups. It's not a class. It's living life with people who have the same goal as you to become everything that God created them to be. So discipleship and becoming a disciple, it looks different today than it did, 20, 30 years ago, but it's still happening in today's church. And especially here at North Church, it looks in the form of small groups.
So unpack that a little bit more in regards to small groups. What does that look? What is a small group?
So a small group, it's a group of people from 3 to 12 people. Some groups are going to be bigger, depends on what they study. But it's a time where you guys come together and you guys study the Word of God. Here at North, we have many different ways. But the ones that we encourage people is to do our Bible reading plan with this 3 to 12 people, because we have a Bible reading plan at North and we speak from the Bible reading plan on the weekends. So it's that way that we unite our church in the Word of God, and we have sermon discussions because we also encourage people, hey, you can do the Word of God, you can do the sermon discussion from the weekend, that we have a guide that we provide for all of our leaders. And you have also created some resources for us, like pneumatology, that is a study of 8 weeks. You're doing one in the life of David currently that is launching here pretty soon. And it looks different, but in this small groups, what we do is we come together. We do life together. We eat together. We have fellowship together, and we study the Word of God, which is what Jesus challenged his disciples to do, encouraged his disciples to do, and is what Paul talks about. He said, have meals together and pray for one another. And all of that happens in our church through small groups. So they all look different. We have men's groups, we have women's group, we have couples group, we have co-ed, we have young couples, we have young families, empty nesters. We have, Pastor Rodney, we have over 80 groups in our church. There is a group for anybody that would like to be part of Kingdom Community.
That is so great. You use that example of 3 to 12, which could be more than that, but that's the model that Jesus had. I mean, Jesus had his 12 that were with him. I mean, it's seemingly almost like 24/7. He would have to sneak away to pray to get away from them every once in a while. But then oftentimes he would pull away, Peter, James, and John to have a smaller group of more intimate prayer time, discussion time, conversation, whatever that is. So you're just, if I can take that, you're modeling what Jesus has modeled for us.
Yeah.
And so why is it important?
Small groups are extremely important. One, because that's how we are discipled. That's how we are in the Word of God. That's how we are talking about the Word of God. That's where we are confessing sin. That's where we are asking people to help us overcome areas in our life, to help us learn more about the Word of God, to help us and teach us how to pray, how to read the Bible. And groups are so important, because it's how you and I will be disciples, how you and I will put into action the Word of God. We come together, we read the Word, and then we're challenged to go and take it to our workplace, to take it into our neighborhood, to take it into our family, and share what we have learned. Here at North, we make it so simple for people to lead a group, to be part of a group, but not because we make it simple. It means that is not valuable, because I have had people in my small group that did not know how to pray. That I remember they saying, like, you ask for people to pray, and I kind of want to, I just don't know how. And it's just a great opportunity for a leader, for a person to teach somebody else how to pray. Through small group, I have asked people, hey, I have kind of like an anger issue and a temper. I need prayer. It is in those small groups that those things take place, and how people are praying over me and people are helping me become who God created me to be. And it happens in those smaller groups. We cannot do that on a Sunday morning. Now, we have prayer on a Sunday morning, but we are coming in a Sunday morning to hear what God is wanting to say to us, for us to be, spiritually challenged and encouraged. But discipleship, if you go to Sunday morning, it doesn't mean you're a disciple. It means that you are a Christian that goes to church. It means that you're a person that goes to church. But discipleship and all that happens when you're intentional about your relationship with Jesus. Going to a group, leading a group. Because I think there's different stages of life. There's a stage that you're going to be fed and you're going to learn about the Word of God, and you're going to be discipled by someone or mentored by someone. But there's going to become a time that is your time to lead. That is your time to start a small group. That is your time to find somebody who you can meet every single week and disciple that person.
That is so good. Now, I know that you just this past weekend met with your leaders, had about 100 plus people gathered here for some training and some basic expectations and inspiration and stuff. Tell us about maybe kind of some of the numbers at North Church, how many people are involved with groups, or anything else you want to unpack that you gave at that meeting.
So North Church, God has been so good to us. He's bringing a lot of people. We have seen a lot of growth in the past few years. We have seen a lot of young families coming into our church, and we're seeing people wanting to lead other people as well. So our church right now is 2023. At the end of last year, we did our metrics of people that are in groups, for people adults that come into our church. And Pastor Rodney, we have 44% of our average adult attendance being plugged into a small group, which is amazing. It is incredible that 44% of our church is involved in kingdom community. But there is still 56% that is not involved in kingdom community. So I celebrated our leaders because, Pastor Rodney, we had over 100 leaders on a championship weekend here in Oklahoma. And we have leaders excited about what God is doing in our community, how God is using them to develop more people and to disciple people. So we have a goal, and honestly, it's our vision as North Church that in 2023, we want to go from 44% to 50%. Now, that seems that it's only 6% more, but it will require us to have 150 to 200 more people into groups, which requires more and more leaders. And that's kind of what we did at the end of last year. We recruited over 20 new groups starting in 2024, which is, it's building that foundation and that base to host those 200 plus people. And in the fall, we have another goal to recruit 20 to 25 more leaders so we can hopefully go above and beyond of that 50%. And I told our leaders this: we don't want 50+% of our people in our church involved in groups just to say that we have people involved in groups. It's not about, wow, look what North Church is doing, because the average of people being involved in groups in a healthy church, in a good church, is like 20% or less. The fact that we have 44, it speaks that God is doing something significant in our church. But we're going to keep making room for more people because we want people to experience the presence of God. We want people to be discipled. We want people to go from leaving all habits and becoming everything that God created them to be, for them to be prayed over. Loneliness, I call it, loneliness is like this century's plague, epidemic. It is, people are lonely, but we're going to make everything possible to make sure we have room for people, because I believe that when people are in community, in good community, in godly community, in kingdom community, that loneliness, depression, anxiety, all of that will go away, because they will find purpose and they will find a community of people that truly love them. And these people might not be your family, but they will become like your family. And we have seen it time after time as we encourage people, hey, why don't you be a part of a group? And most people are hesitant to do it, but when they do it, they are like, this is exactly what I needed. I had a testimony for one of our leaders. They lead a couples group, and they're going through some things, and he came to me after our vision Sunday, and he said, I needed to hear this. Like, I need to be part of community, and I know that people that I'm leading need me just as much as I need them. Like, this is just not for the people that attend, but this is also for the leader. Like, we need to be part of kingdom community. So super excited for what God is doing in our church, but I'm very excited to see what God is going to do in 2024, how many more people are going to be involved in kingdom community. Again, not just to say, look how many people we have in there, but no, it's people who are taking steps to become who God created them to be.
That's so good. Thank you very much. Now, Christian, this is really inspiring for me. It's exciting to see people gather together. You know, Jesus said, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name. So people gather in groups all the time. They gather in groups at work. They gather in groups at ball games. We just naturally gather, but there's a difference when we gather with the purpose of Jesus being at the center of our conversation, which is key. And you just unpack maybe, and you've actually listed some benefits of being in a group already, but is there any other, just benefits that you can think of being in a group that we need to hear?
So the main benefit is that you're going to have a place where people care for you. And I think a lot of time people don't join groups because they think, well, those people are not going to care for me. And I believe those are the lies of the devil, because the people that I've been part of different groups at North, because me and my wife, we're all about multiplication, about helping starting new groups and branching out of a group and making more room for people. And every time that we have to leave a group, it's sad because we're like, man, we love doing life with these people, and maybe this new group of people are not going to care for us as much as these other people do. But it is such a lie. Every time that we have joined a group, we have found people that when we are going through something difficult, we can text, hey, I need prayer for this. And you just see the people texting prayers and checking on you. I think that's an amazing benefit. Like, you will have a community that care for you. Another benefit is that you will grow spiritually. You will grow in your knowledge of God. You will grow as a disciple, and you will be serving the people as well, because you will be serving those people that are in your small group. So there are many, many, many benefits. But I think the one of the most important benefits when it comes to being part of a group, it's that you find a family. You have a place where people care if you come or you don't come. The people care. Like, one of the best texts that I receive when me and my wife are either out of town or we're unable to go to a group is like, man, we missed you. Because we think that we're alone. We think that we're in the, and I'm in ministry, and sometimes it feels like, man, people don't really care about us, but it's such a lie. And people do truly care about you. So that's just being part of Kingdom community is such a benefit.
So good. Well, Christian, thank you so very much for the time. I have been encouraged and inspired by this, and I hope that those that are listening, I'm sure they have been also. I do want to say that as we kind of wrap up our time here, is that we actually have some bonus material that's going to come out on our podcast this week, and that is with me and you. And I'd like to continue this conversation in just a moment, and it's regarding something that I actually unpacked to our staff a few weeks ago. And then you came right up to me afterwards and said, hey, Pastor, I think that this needs to be on podcast. And then I just simply said, hey, would you mind, being the one that's interviewing me? And so we're going to follow up. I hope everybody's listening, because by the end of this week or by the weekend, we'll probably have this bonus material out to those so that they can kind of also receive what I gave to the staff. And we'll do that through a setting of our, you and me sitting down talking about it. Sound good?
Yep.
All right. Hey, I'm so glad that you joined us today. Christian, thank you very much. Each and every week, I'm glad that you join us for Up and to the Right. Share it with somebody else. Hey, also go on and let us know, comment, let people know that you enjoy it, and share it with somebody else. And I will look forward to seeing you next time on Up and to the Right.